All right. So our browser clip failed, or maybe not. I don't
Is
know.
a little quicker than usual.
All right. So on my end, okay. Sorry. Welcome everybody to Brothers-In-Flaw Sports. Sorry for the technical difficulties. On my end, it showed that there was an error, but on the YouTube thing that I have up, it was playing. But that's fine. Just little technical difficulties, and I've been meaning to do a new one anyway. I got one in the works, but it needs a little work and spell checked. But but again, welcome, and got our other hosts, Cunado and Santana. So Cunado, how you doing today?
Doing all right, man. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Santana,
I'm doing well, man. How y'all guys?
doing good.
That
I
was
know
that
you're.
was how y'all guys. That didn't come out of my mouth the way that I wanted it to. Apologize.
It happens. Santana. So got a little nervous the other night, did you?
Oh yeah, man. That was a run out of my house to my local Buffalo Wild Wings to try and capture some juju of the season. That and props to the Packers. I think I've said over the last couple of weeks that this theme of the playoffs is overachievement, and they are prime example. And to come into San Francisco and push that team to the wire when our quarterback was not playing at his best and had to come on there at late at the end there. But a win's a win, and thank goodness for it.
Especially in the playoffs. But we'll get more to that later when we do our recap. Right now, there's a lot of big news that's been going on. A lot of head coaching vacancies have been filling up. And honestly, the first biggest one by far, Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan and is heading to the Chargers. Cunado, what you got on that one?
If I was a Michigan fan, I'd call it egregious. No, just kidding. I mean, like, he's doing the best thing for him. We always kind of knew that he was an NFL head coach. I mean, he's just a good coach. I mean, he's good. He's a good college coach. His overall record in the NFL is 49-22-1. So it's a 70% roughly winning percentage. And then his NCAA record is 133-52, 72%. I think that he just wants to. What I really think it is that he is maybe one of the most competitive people on the planet. And now his dad has an NCAA. Me and Santana were talking about this. I can't remember which division. It might have been the step down from the FBS, or what would have at that point been D1.
They used to call it Division 1 AA. That's what it used to be.
Exactly.
Now it's FCS.
So he's got the championship under his belt. He's been to one Super Bowl, won multiple, or been to multiple. I don't know why I'm blanking on the national
NFC championships.
Yes, thank you. NFC championships. I kept wanting to put the C in front of the F. I'm sorry about that for both of y'all and our one viewer. And we'll look at it later. So no, I think it's just like that next step for him. Like, he wants to do it all. Like, and he went back to Michigan, put them in the position that he wanted to put them in, and he was amazing at Michigan. I mean, 10-3, 10-3, 8-5, 10-3, 9-4. I mean, he needs to. I think for him, just do his thing. And I think the Chargers is actually an excellent landing spot. I, as a Rams fan, hate it. I hate that they share the city with us. I hate that the Rams moved from St. Louis and built the whole thing. Thanks, Kroenke. And then the Chargers are like, we'll come too. So, kind of like, screw you guys. But I think it's a really good fit. And he's just successful everywhere he's been. You just look at his overall records. He's a hell of a coach. He is one of the quirkiest people maybe on the planet. But he's really good at his job. and I think he has a lot of talent to work with the Chargers. So on the one hand, I hate it. On the other hand, kind of excited to see it. I just really hope that if the Rams keep going the way they're going, we don't see the Chargers in like a Super Bowl and lose, because then I will cry a lot.
Santana, what's your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan and taking the Chargers job?
Oh, I'm excited for him to be back in the NFL. He holds a soft spot in my heart because I grew up as a 49ers fan when the 49ers were not very good. So for him to come in 2011 when he did, and to immediately right the ship. He was there for 4 years and played in 3 NFC championships and a Super Bowl, and it had the one 500 year. But just this like blast of success happened for me, a young 49ers fan growing up with no success for a long time. But I think I'm more than am I excited about Harbaugh with the Chargers. I'm excited for Herbert with Harbaugh. He's proven quarterback whisperer, and I know that term gets thrown around lightly or pretty lightly, but the impact he had when he came in for San Francisco and took Alex Smith, who had his severe ups and downs, to even call it really any ups is pretty. I don't know that you can really speak about a lot of highs during Alex Smith's pre-Harbaugh years, but then turned him into what we then went on to see him go do in Kansas City. So I think that Herbert, who is already proven to be a pretty special talent, gets a quarterback-friendly coach. The offense should benefit him. There's a lot of talent there. And I mean, the Chargers have never really had any issues other than injuries also. So like we can just if the Chargers can just stay healthy for a year with Harbaugh's tutelage under Herbert in the offense, like sky's the limit over there. I think that they could definitely compete as early as next season.
All right. Yeah, like you were saying, he's a quarterback friendly. He got JJ McCarthy and won a national championship with him. So
well, and a lot of people said for the majority of the time, Kenyatta just listed all his records. He did all that without ever a really spectacular quarterback. So he was getting more out of the lesser caliber quarterbacks. And McCarthy, when McCarthy came in, he was supposed to be the guy that sparked Harbaugh's stuff. But I never saw anything that made me just think, hey, JJ McCarthy is outstanding. He'll definitely win a national championship. And if you look at his stats this year, like I don't think that he threw for over 3,000 yards. I think that, he's just efficient. Like he played well. Like, I'm not trying to take away from the kid, but I definitely would put it in Harbaugh's lap that like he got the most out of all quarterbacks just listening to that record, like the way that I think most people picture Harbaugh's stint at Michigan is probably underachieving, but then just listening to the numbers there, Kenyatta, how can you say underachieving when he especially caps it with a national championship? But just to say that he did all of that with quarterbacks, because how long was the narrative there? Just wait till Harbaugh gets his guy at quarterback, and we can go back to
and if he enters, I'm sorry, go ahead and keep going.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. I was just talking quarterback stuff. Go.
Well, my thing is like speaking on that record stuff. Like if he comes back into the NFL, he will have the highest winning percentage of any of the head coaches in the NFL in his return right now. Like any of the active coaches.
Wow.
His it's regular seasons 0.695, so just round up, 70% winning percentage will be the highest in the NFL right now. And
wow,
that just people discount him because he had a bit of a fall off. He went 13-3, 11-4-1, 12-4, 8-8 with the Niners, and then obviously there's some kind of like locker room talk that maybe he had lost some of the. He had problems with Trent Baalke, the former GM of the Niners, and then there was like some just buzz around that like maybe he had lost the locker room and players didn't like him, and he's a quirky dude. So I don't know. But the numbers don't lie. The guy's a winner. And like Santana was saying, every quarterback, despite talent level, seems to be pretty successful underneath him. He's the one who turned Colin Kaepernick into what Colin Kaepernick was through that run. So and he does wear
He
glasses.
does wear glasses. Everybody knows really good, smart people wear glasses.
And he likes peanut
just
butter and jelly
saying.
sandwiches and milk at random times at a recruit's house.
Khakis always, so he's
And
snagging
khakis
all
Yeah.
the time.
You're getting slacks. Well, yeah, I think it I was not expecting this one. I thought he was like one of those where he made his thing and he was going like a Nick Saban where it was he made it, he got his national championship, so he was just going to keep rolling, and that was going to be his like thing of just, hey, I'm fine doing college and coaching in college, but he is a very ambitious guy, so I can see him wanting to go and dip his foot back in that water, and now would be the best time. He would leave Michigan on top, leave the program in really good standing. It wouldn't be one of those where he was kind of run off again. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. It's not going to be fun as the Urban Meyer experiment, but I think it'll definitely do a lot
That was
better.
fun for everybody
lot
but
better
Jacksonville
results.
fans.
Yeah, yeah.
That was so much fun for the rest of us.
But at least, like you said, Harbaugh has proven himself in the NFL. So with him coming in, do you think he will become one of those that does have a national championship in college football and a Super Bowl winning coach?
He's coming in at a pretty difficult time in the AFC, I think, specifically in that division. Guy, you guys might know, Patrick Mahomes, and how they just so. I think it would be hard to say like for sure. Like I couldn't tell you yes he would do that. Do I think that he has the like capability to do so, especially with that almost pre-made, like predestined to succeed if healthy roster at the better Los Angeles. So it'd be hard to say yes he's going to do it, but do I think that he possibly could? Absolutely. Like if he had gone anywhere, like I don't think that there's a team that I would have said no, he can't build that team. But again, like I have these very strong emotional feelings about his stint in San Francisco. But just to think like that was 4 years, that felt like it was. There's so much happened in those 4 years, So I don't know. I mean, yes, he was extremely successful in San Francisco for 4 years, and his drop off was mild. I mean, again, I think that we were 8-8 that year. Like it was a mild season. So like he dropped off. He still didn't have a losing year. But just to picture it in that shotgun blast, like maybe it is because again, he came into a pretty decent roster with San Francisco when he came in too. They just were extremely underachieving, like extremely, like really bad. Like they were just not good at football. It was really hard to watch.
Well,
I
know like he's the first winning season and playoff experience for you guys since 2002. But to your point, as far as he is literally now joining the division with the Ichigo of, and that's for Bleach reference, but just Ichigo, Mahomes, like no matter what you put up against him, we're watching it now happen in the playoffs. This guy just keeps winning. You might smack him in the face in the regular season, but in the playoffs, you just can't get him. And now you have to play that guy twice a year. So Patrick Mahomes, sorry. I'm sorry.
What? What?
I just heard something over here. It doesn't matter. But now you got to play that guy twice a year. And yes, you have a very talented roster. And I would say maybe possibly top to bottom, more talented than the Chiefs. I wouldn't say that wholeheartedly, but just A lot of good balance on defense, a lot of good balance on offense. The Chiefs have a really good defense, and they've got some holes to fill on offense. Or if these young guys start to step up, maybe that's the answer. I don't know. We won't know, but I'll tell you what, these last 2 weeks, they damn sure have. So it's an uphill climb, but I would say that Harbaugh is probably capable of at least making it incredibly competitive, like he did in San Fran against when the Seahawks were really good and coming into their own at that time as well, and had to compete against uh, Tom Brady, probably at the pinnacle of Tom Brady in New England a lot of the time.
All right. Well, moving on. Speaking of a guy who has worked miracles with quarterbacks, um, he worked a miracle in Seattle with Geno Smith, and even this year with Baker Mayfield. Dan Canales is the coach of the Panthers. So he goes in and with a young quarterback. So, Cunado, what you thinking about Canales, and how do you think this hire was, and how do you think he's going to do this year or in this upcoming season?
I have very little information on Canales. I was a little bit surprised, especially at that kind of landing spot, and I'm not trying to throw Canales under the bus, but like I don't know if this is one of those like throw somebody there and let the rebuild roll
Kind of
up underneath him.
kind of a stopgap.
Yeah, but the Panthers really aren't in a position to do that anymore because they've done that. Like
Hmm.
they I don't think that they meant to do it with Matt Rule. I don't know why they got Reich, and no, nothing against Reich as a person. He might be a phenomenal guy, but like he wasn't successful with a much better roster in Indianapolis. So I fear for Canales. I fear for anybody who's taken over that job, honestly. And once again, I don't have enough information background wise for Canales to say much more than I wish him the best.
One of those. Good luck. You're gonna freaking need it. Santana, what you got on this
The
one?
the positives about this when I saw it, first off, I too thought that it kind of came out of nowhere. I hadn't heard his name mentioned for any job, let alone that one. My first thoughts were that, all right, bingo, at least, okay, forget the name. You needed to go get an offensive guy. I think that everybody, like, I know that Reich is offensive, but like, I don't think that you bring in a defensive minded guy when just get your young quarterback with an offensive mind. So I think they at least win on that. Whether it works out or not, we'll see. But like at least there was that decision making. I think that's the positive we can take away. Was it a reach? I don't know. Like again, I feel like I keep up with the conversation about what coaches are going where. Didn't really hear his name as much as some of the other guys. And especially to pull the trigger, I thought, well, does that mean that they don't want to wait on Ben Johnson? Because he had interviewed for that job last year. They didn't. I think he pulled his name out of it and wanted to stay with the Lions. But seems like this would be like a perfect timing to be like, hey, we really want you this time, Ben. And you can't wait 3 weeks, really. Like maybe even 1 week. Like they could have talked after this weekend, or if the Lions win 2 weeks from now. I just thought like did they give up on the wait on Ben Johnson, or did Ben Johnson like say nah? Like when he said nah last year, did that mean like nah for good? It's kind of one of the things that I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'm like Kenyatta. I don't know too much about the guy, but maybe it is because you bring up Matt Rule, Kenyatta. I think that they did not give him near enough time, and I mean the roster is really depleted. Like I think that there are some bright spots. Derek Brown, Brian Burns, Horns kid on defense, like
JC Horn.
Jason. Yeah, so there are pieces everywhere. I think Bryce has it. Like I don't think that Bryce was a miss pick. I think that he was just out there by himself for the majority. I mean, when your number one receiver is an Adam Thielen, who was never going to be a guy that could just carry an offense by himself. Now he's in the twilight of his career, so it's not even like you're getting like the best of Adam Thielen. Though he had a good year.
He's not an intolerable number one, but like he's not a number one.
Well, I mean, right, like this point in his career, like previous at like some of the stuff that he did at the Vikings, that would be a lot more arguable. And he had a decent year. Again, not trying to take away from Thielen, but
he did.
That's not the guy. If you told me, hey, I'm going to bring in, trade away my future to get this quarterback in the draft, and I was like, oh, cool, who's he going to throw it to? And you're like, a really old Adam Thielen, kind of busted up Adam Thielen. Like, well, but who else? And it's like, well, no, that's it. Like that's who we're we're just going to build it around. Well, you're kind of missing. But again, I mean, what sucks about being a Panthers fan right now is that that the new regime coming in is not getting a lot to work with early on as far as draft capital, because you traded that stuff away last year to get the quarterback that you wanted. If any of us talked about it at that time, I would have said like, oh, let's pump the brakes. I feel like that's too much for any of these guys, and not to say that. I mean, obviously, you see what C.J. Stroud did, and I love C.J. Stroud last year. And I think Bryce has all that he needs to succeed, other than a team around him. Like, I don't think that what we saw from Bryce this year is something that we can really judge him on. He wasn't protected. There's not a lot of weapons around him. The running game wasn't as good as other places could back him up with, and so that would be my concern. Like, it doesn't matter who the coach is. Like, we still have to go build a roster worth putting on the field.
Well, and if you look at, you brought up the wide receivers, and Canales was at Seattle when he had Geno Smith doing what he was doing. Geno also had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, two proven guys. And, with Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, you got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So, and actually at Tampa Bay, he had a lot more weapons too. So for him to succeed, they've got to get some offensive weapon for Bryce Young, and just something on the offensive line, so Bryce isn't running for his life every single play, because he's not a big dude, and he's not going to last long getting hit.
Yeah, he was underprotected and did not have the options. Like, anybody, if I'm a Panthers fan, I'm not looking at Bryce and being like, you're our issue. And they're just, but where are the options that they are going to build? I mean, who are our options in free agency as far as receivers go? Who can we add in late in the draft as far as weapons? It's a pretty talented draft class when it comes to skill position, but like, is there somebody that we can like make an impact next year? Because that's what it's going to take for any success in Carolina, is like an immediately, like, it just Tepper, right, is the Panthers owner, drink thrower.
Yeah.
He has proven David Tepper. He has proven that he is not overly patient with his coaches. So I mean, you're going to have to show a spark next year, and that's going to mean an immediate roster flip. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure Brian Burns is coming up on like, this is his contract year. He may be looking for another home, and you need to be able to retain players like that, because of the rest. I mean, again, the roster is just, it's not there for any type of like real competition.
That's the thing, and I don't know if Canales just got thrown, out of the fire, or out of the frying pan into the fire. I'm not sure, but just as an organization, and I think that it would just behoove them to get a weapon, like somebody to throw that ball to. Because I agree with you, Santana. I think normally you might have said the same thing. Bryce Young, I think, has shown enough in that he's a winner, that like, you got to put somebody out there for him to get the ball to. And not that I'm knocking any of their receivers or, Thielen or whatever, but I am. That is exactly what I'm doing. And yeah, he needs more protection, but the problems are deeper than just those positions. The problems are as deep as Carolina has a lot of holes to fill. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. So I don't envy Canellis, but good luck.
Yeah,
I got nothing against you, Carolina.
definitely,
Good luck.
definitely a far worse off position than Harbaugh's walking in.
Hey, this is kind of off subject, but just while on the conversation with David Tepper, so he throws a drink on a fan, right? Because he got irritated by what the fan was saying. Then gets fined. Like, doesn't he only get fined like $300,000 or something like that? Which
Only.
listen to us, that's would obviously that's a lot of money. Give me $300,000, I'll walk away from all work right this second. But for him, that guy, like if I had NFL owner money, I would almost want to put specifically right in front of my box opposing teams fans, and they could talk shit to me, and then I could just throw drinks at them whenever I wanted to. Because like with that type of money, it's like, yeah, I would absolutely spend $300,000 to throw drinks at an opposing team's fan.
I
Anyway.
think I think it might get egregious at some point.
You
Throwing
got to pick
drinks
them.
at people.
You got to pick them. You got to pick and choose. Like, what did that guy say? And also, like, but all right, I actually thought about this. So, you yourself, I don't know how this like tickets sales go. So, you yourself just buy a block of seats like right in front of your box, right? And then all the ticket sales like are now your like you own this section of the seat. So every ticket that is bought in that section goes to you. So you charge up and then like, hey, do you hate my team or whatever? Come sit right in front of me and you can talk shit to me the whole time and I'll throw drinks at you, and it's an experience and you pay extra and then you just use all the money that you get from those seats to pay your fines. See, I would be such a good NFL owner. Like,
I think you would be intolerable if I had to guess.
yeah, I could see where that would. Yeah, I could see where that would be. To who? To whom, sir?
All righty. So moving on to our next coach, we had Jared Mayo, who was hired fairly early last week. I think it was it the day before DeBoer?
You're right around there.
It was around, so it's actually been closer to 2 weeks now.
Obviously, he has no head coaching experience. I'm sorry, keep going, Normie.
Yeah, that's one of the things, because that was one of those where I was definitely like, wait, who? Like, I don't even remember. I watched a lot of Patriots football growing up, but I really don't remember him when as a player. But I've been reading up and been seeing that, yeah, he was a player and was damn good. But yeah, zero head coaching experience anywhere. Like, I went to his Wikipedia and it was like, the only coaching experience he has is his time at the Patriots. So, I mean, what do y'all think about that, Kenyatta?
I thought it was kind of weird to go that direction, especially replacing arguably the greatest of all time. I think that a lot of fans are actually pretty psyched about it. Just kind of some of the like Patriots fans, they seem to be okay with it. It's new, it's fresh. I think that's kind of what the whole goal of parting ways with Belichick was the goal of. I was a little bit surprised, but they also said that they'd kind of written contracts like this for Josh McDaniels before, where he was kind of like the coach in waiting. He just didn't wait long enough. And then I can't remember the one in between, but apparently Jared Mayo kind of had it in his contract where I don't know if it's like distinctly this is the coach in waiting, but there were some stipulations where like hang out long enough and you're gonna get the shot. I think they like him that much. I think the players like him. I don't know what kind of job he's gonna do. None of us do. I don't think he's even been like. I don't know how much coaching experience he has outside of the New England building, but he was a hell of a player at Tennessee, and he was a pretty damn good player with the Patriots.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, is it like this? We're kind of witnessing the new era of the NFL to where like it's not just the boys club anymore, and I'm here for it. Like I want to see this turn.
Yeah.
Like
Where
seeing Sean McVay get hired, seeing like the McShanahan tree. That's I can't remember who coined that term. Santana, do you remember who did it?
No, but I love it and use
But
it daily.
yeah, it's like so McVay and Shanahan, all their boys, like a youth infusion, and obviously Mayo. I think he's only like 38 or 39 years old. Like yeah, like let's see it. Like let's see some new faces. Let's see the new blood. Let's see like. And now he's not in a much better position, maybe if any at all, than Carolina. I actually kind of compare the situations as far as like you need weapons. You've got a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball, and your defense actually keeps you in games. It's not you got holes, you got stuff to fix over there, but the offense really only needs a little bit here and there. Not the offense. I'm sorry, the defense only needs a little bit here and there. Offense needs a lot of work. A lot of work. At least Carolina gets to start with possibly an actually good quarterback. The Patriots, I'm sorry, Mac Jones. I'm sorry, Bailey Zappi. I'm sorry to anybody else. Probably just go ahead and start over on that one.
let's see, would you consider what Dan Campbell qualifies new blood from Albiona?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he was a player, and
Well, and I was about to say he falls into the category that I am loving of what Antonio Pierce just got hired by the Raiders. I love these former players as coaches, but I do think that Mayo kind of falls in between like this new blood category because yes, he is new blood and player and younger guy, but and also not really somebody that was on anybody's radar about who was going to get that job when they separated from Belichick. But he is like, it actually kind of reminded me, Kenyatta, of every time Auburn hired a guy there for a while, I was like, he's an Auburn man. We're doing it the Auburn man way. It's this guy is he's going to do it the Auburn man way, and for them to just hire Mayo, a patriot through and through, like just to step, and which is fine. Like that may or may not work. I mean, it has proven to work for a long time, the Patriot way. But there were talks about when Belichick left that it would change. Like, all right, the Patriot way is kind of going a different direction, and I'm sure that Mayo will take it to a different direction than say Bill would. But it does just seem like you're kind of still playing it close to the vest, especially when I don't think that a lot of people got interviewed for the job. I think that they may had already, like you said, had the contract and pegged that guy to be the replacement. But it does seem like closer to the vest for this particular hire because you are replacing arguably the greatest of all time. The Patriots are expected now to be winners, and over the last couple of years, it hadn't really worked out the way that I'm sure Patriot fans and Patriot ownership pictures it. So I don't, I'm excited for Jared Mayo. I like him, and I like again former players. I just, it just still seems played close to the vest.
Cody House says the egg and oil-based condiment man.
That's what they called him, and that's what they called him on the field.
Albiona, if the Auburn alumni could just move back, that might work. Yeah, if Yellowwood guy would just give money and then let the other people actually do their job.
it's a whole other.
We got. I don't know how much time we. I don't know how much time we got. So.
But Santana, you did bring up Antonio Pierce at the Raiders, so it's a good way to transition to him. Cunyato, what you got on this one?
My biggest takeaway on this one is that the other two, like the two previews that we did with Mayo and Carolina. I'm sorry, I've already blanked on him. Canales, thank you. I kept wanting to say Callis. Canales. Like I said, I don't know anything about this guy, and good for him, and I hope he does well. Those kind of seem like incredibly difficult situations with incredibly like fresh and new coaches. Like Santana was kind of saying that with Mayo just now, like maybe you're kind of sticking to the Patriot way, maybe you're not branching off enough. I don't know. And then this is another internal hire, but the players seem to, it seems like they also love Mayo, but the players absolutely, the team changed, their play changed, like their attitude changed, the locker room changed when Pierce took over as interim. And a lot of people didn't think that it was going to like actually happen. I'm happy for Antonio Pierce. I'm pulling for him, and not like I have no vested interest in the Raiders whatsoever. But like this is one of those where it kind of seems. In fact, I think Max Crosby said, "You can trade me, basically, cut me or trade me if you don't make him the head coach."
Yeah.
Well, and Devontae Adams brought up that he said that I would run through a wall for that guy. Like, I think that a lot of the major names in that locker room are a lot of the reason why. I mean, he proved it. I thought he proved it on the field. Like, I thought, why not just give him the job? The Raiders changed how they, like you said, Kenyatta, how they played through when Pierce took over. But then, like, when you got your star players saying, like, yes, give this guy the job, we want to play for this person, then I think that it makes it kind of an easy choice. And I mean, I think, why wouldn't you? I mean, you saw what happened on the field when he took over the head job. So I think that was a no-brainer, as close to it as there has been so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a good one. You could definitely see the players loved him. He has that locker room. It's almost, it reminds me like of Sam Pittman, but in the NFL. Like, because I know for me, even I'm sometimes like, I would go play for that dude right now. My
Absolutely.
34-year-old self out there.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
strap on for him. I'll damn do it because I know he's gonna have my back.
100%. And then like we can see like one of the 4 final teams, Dan Campbell.
Yes,
Like he
same
seems
kind
to
of
have
that
that
kind of
locker
guy.
room, like, and yeah, I mean he's got a lot of rah to him and a lot of like, but like it's that whole like I'll do whatever for this guy,
Yeah.
I'll go to war for this man, and it seems like there's power to it, and it's a growing trend, and I like it. Like, let's get out of the like robotic stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
now one of the 2 of the robots that we know. And also, all of the players that played for Nick Saban say that he's not an actual robot. But as far as how buttoned up that he was in his like just regular pressers and stuff like that, he comes off as just this, and he is a driven and like focused person. Not taking away from that. And then Bill Belichick the same way, but now once again, kind of like just new blood. Maybe it doesn't have to be done that way. Like let's be a little bit more like, let's go. And I don't know anything about Antonio Pierce's his schemes or his tactics or like how he's going to present himself. I hope that they're the hard knocks, honestly, just so I can kind of get a better look.
Yeah. All right. Moving along, hit a little bit north of us, the Titans, and they hired Brian Callahan, who was the OC at the Bengals for a good little stint. Cunyato, what you got?
I think it's a good hire. I I think I think the Titans are another one of those situations to where I would say in much better position than the Panthers and the Patriots as far as just overall roster talent. And I would say that just shooting right off the hip. I don't know that for a fact. I think that they just have more pieces in place. I think they're a quarterback away. Callahan obviously did, good work with Joe Burrow before Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase with just like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and some of the other weapons, like they were still an effective offense. So I think it's a good hire. Yeah, I agree with that. If that's what Cody's talking about, it's just kind of boring. I mean, so Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. I mean, Titans need a quarterback.
Yeah, they definitely do. But it is definitely going to be a big shift because you're going from, Mike Vrabel, a very heavily defensive kind of guy, control the clock kind of guy, to Brian Callahan, an offensive guy. But as long as if they can, like you said, if they can get a quarterback and just a game manager, and I think they can do. It's hard to tell. I don't think it's in that Carolina Patriots like range of him what he's walking into, but it's not much higher than that. It's like a step above that.
That's what I
So
would say as well. And then also it looks like they're probably / at least possibly losing King Henry.
yeah.
I don't know where his landing spot is going to be. Rams, the true LA. Actually, I really love Kyron Williams. I don't know what Derek would do for us, but I do think that he is still just a battering ram. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, Santana, what you got on this one? You're muted.
Damn fucking buttons, you know what I'm saying? Like, God, what would? All right. Anyway, I actually thought that this was this wouldn't have shocked me had it been this higher for Carolina. I actually don't think that it's a boring hire. Like, I think that spreading out an offense. I mean, it's been running Zach Taylor's offense. Sorry, I just got dogged. But this was the move, like in the name that I heard going around for like teams, that if you're not going to get Ben Johnson from the Lions, like this was the offensive coordinator that you wanted to hire. So but I hadn't heard them connected or the Titans connected with him. So to have this come, I mean, it kind of hit me like, oh, that's shocking, but good. But that's who I would anticipated Carolina to hire, or somebody like that for Carolina. So again, going back to Carolina's hire, it makes me think like, oh, they pulled the trigger on Callahan. Let's go ahead and get our guy. So I don't know. I'm not shocked by it. I think Will Levis has shown a lot this past season, just of what he could possibly accomplish under in a system that the Callahan and Zach Taylor run. I don't know. I agree with the roster. I don't know. I'm with. I don't think that it's a boring hire. I think they did a good job. That's basically where I was trying to get, and took a long way to get there.
Cody says that makes sense to me. But earlier he had a question that I was waiting till we got to a good point. How do y'all think this year's QB class will pan out in the NFL?
I think that all depends on the landing spot.
Yep.
Obviously, Caleb Williams to the Bears could work out. That's such a tough question. I mean, obviously, like even the NFL scouts are the guys who they get paid, whatever they get paid to do that job, are maybe 50%, maybe less than 50%. They're definitely not above 50% on it. I think Caleb Williams is probably can't miss to whoever goes after him. I don't know if I was the Bears that I would make that type of move. And I think that Jaden Daniels, those are the two out of this class. I think they're pretty special. And I love Penix Jr. and Bo Nix and Drake May, and like Drake May is getting a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like I've seen some of like Drake May type players come out, Daniel Jones perhaps, and Sam Howell, his predecessor, like just not really pan out. But Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams pop off the page for me personally. So I don't know. Just based on what the scouts are saying, Caleb Williams is can't miss. And then just based on what my eyeballs saw, is Jaden Daniels is can't miss.
Yeah.
So I'd say those two are, if I had a high pick, the two that I would want.
All right.
Cody, I will have a much more informed opinion about all of that in the next few weeks. Once the season's over, I intend to do a breakdown of all of the quarterbacks coming out, or at least the top half of the draft class. I refuse to say can't miss in any quarterback debate, especially the young guys. I agree with you, Kenyatta, that is those players have been. Caleb has been painted as can't miss, and I fell in love with Jaden Daniels when he was a freshman at Arizona State. So I definitely think, and then what he put on tape this year was absolutely insane. One of the most. I told you the other day that I want him to go to Atlanta because he is this Michael Vick next step up type. Who knows where the pieces will fall, but I am in love with Jaden Daniels for sure. I think that if Michael Penix stays healthy, then he can. I mean, that dude has an arm that we talked about it last week. I didn't know that he had that. I've watched him since Indiana and did not realize until this year, specifically towards the later in parts of the season, that guy had that arm. So that guy can make every throw, zip, accuracy, touch, whatever you want. Penix can make it. Obviously, he's dealt with a lot of injuries over the years. I love Bo Nix. I think that he was going to be a steal because I do not think he sneaks his way into the top 32. So second day, you get him mid second round, early third round. I think that you add that type of character, that type of player, that type of athleticism, that type of arm, that type of understanding of football into your quarterback room. Even if you don't need a starter at the moment, I think that you're going to benefit heavily from having a player like that. Again, Drake is the one that I need to watch. I watched him earlier in the season this past year. I thought that he showed everything that you need from a starting quarterback. He looks the part. He moves like the part. He makes plays. He's a playmaker. But as I don't have a high opinion or any opinion at all on him. I just haven't watched him enough. But that's coming. I think that this show will listen to me word vomit all about quarterbacks at some point here soon.
Penix is coming and is intolerable.
I think that you're going. We've talked a lot, not on this show, but just a lot over the past this college football season. That this is a really deep quarterback class. A lot of scouts love JJ McCarthy, going back to him, who I am just not that high on. But to be fair, he's not. He doesn't turn the ball over. He does have a lot of athleticism. I don't know. So again, I have to go back and watch all these guys, and I intend to do so.
Well, he played in a system that didn't ask him to do a lot.
Didn't have to do a lot. That offensive line is insane. The defense was great. The running backs, not only do you have you got three guys that could lead a team in rushing. It's
absolutely.
So yeah, he wasn't asked to do a lot, but I mean, it's not just him. Camden Ward, formerly of Incarnate Ward and Washington State. I mean, there you can take picks as late as the 4th, 5th round that may be game changers as far as where the quarterback position is, just because of how deep this class is. So, how are they going to do? How are they going to fare? Well, maybe pretty good, I would guess.
Yes, it was.
All righty.
But Sam Hartman too. I mean, I'm sorry, did not even throw there. You're right. It is so deep. It's between the quarterbacks and the wide receivers, this class, and cornerbacks too, which all three positions that teams really, really need. It's kind of crazy how the wheel turns. Oh man, all of us kind of need this. And then the world provides okay, here's a bunch of really good quarterbacks. You can get maybe 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round perhaps for all of these positions. So.
It'll be fun to watch.
I highly recommend the late round quarterback.
Why would you say that? From the check down king?
Oh my! Let's move on, Sean. On the next one.
Onward and upward.
For anybody who's watching, I do not feel that way or believe that way. Brock Purdy is incredibly good, and I don't understand this media narrative that has happened around him.
So next up, or the final team, we got the Falcons with Raheem Morris. Again, I'm not sure. I haven't really heard of him.
This one's
Former-
a heartbreaker. Go
Current
ahead.
the current Rams and defensive coordinator, formerly head coach at the Buccaneers. I think that he was extremely how old he was our age, 34 or so when he got that job. I think he was pretty young at the Buccaneers, but
He's only 42 now.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly. Obviously I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. I know that he was young when he got that job. Obviously got fired, but has built back up his reputation as the Rams defensive coordinator specifically. You look at the Rams, especially this year, for me, with how young and how no-name that defense was and how well they played this year. He was a hot candidate. I'm surprised that he ended up in Atlanta after they flirted with Bill Belichick for as long as they did. And last I heard, Bill Belichick had only communicated with Atlanta, so it's weird, and had multiple meetings with Atlanta. So it's weird to me that it's going to be Bill. It's going to be Bill. Oh, hold up, no, it's not going to be Bill. Or we're weighing our options, and then Raheem Morris, because that was not a name that I'd heard connected at all. So far, a really fun coaching circle situation, because I'm getting shocked at every hire.
Well, they did interview 14 candidates, and with Bill Belichick being one of them. So they interviewed a lot of people.
When I saw that blank wanted Belichick, but there were hurdles. So I don't know what those hurdles would be. I'm sure that Belichick was asking for an awful lot, but
yeah, kind of just too much for him to back.
Well, and I get it, and I like Raheem Morris, and I like the hire. It was kind of, once it started leaning and kind of sounding like it was almost Belichick's to lose, then they come out and say no, it isn't, and then hire somebody who I hadn't even heard mentioned. This was actually the job that I wanted Ben Johnson to go to. Sorry, Cody, I'm not trying to strip your offense, but with the weapons that Atlanta has on offense. Thank you.
Yeah, Morris turns 43 this year, turned 33 the year he coached for the Bucks.
So this was the year this was the team that I wanted Ben Johnson to go to.
Childish Gambino, probably one of the Matt Patricia knows. Hey, probably.
They're 47 this year. Oh, I was way off on 42. All right, 46. What are you doing, man? Sorry.
Alrighty.
Also getting dogged.
So that wraps up the coaches in the NFL.
My final take on that is I'm sad. Raheem, what he was doing with the young talent in LA, I was really pumped about because we were not supposed to be good, and we weren't great, and sometimes we were bad, but we were incredibly young, and I thought that he did a hell of a job. So I will miss him as our DC.
Have you heard anything on Ram social media about who, like, is Staley an option? Are they thinking about bringing back Staley? Or have you heard any names about who replaces Morris?
I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't looked into it all that deeply, but I mean, Staley's got to be somewhere near the top of the list given the current job situation. So, I mean, he was amazing too. So, hopefully he wants to like rebuild and get himself another shot at a head coaching job. But no, and obviously there's probably, like, if I go and like any of us go in deep dive, there's something out there, but no, I haven't heard any names mentioned yet. I'm sad to lose Raheem, because it like that happened today, like that, like just like I'd kind of heard whispers about him in Atlanta, but I did not expect it to just happen and it's done. I really thought some of the other names would probably get that job. Good for him. Very happy for him. And I'm pulling for him. And anytime he's not playing the Rams. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. As a Rams fan, losing, one of the coordinators, just thank you for what you did.
All right. Any final thoughts on any of the new coaches in the NFL?
No.
Yeah, I think we went over it pretty well. So, let's move on to our divisional round recap. So let me pull up the schedule. So the first game up, we had Houston at Baltimore, which I will say, out of the 4 games, it was probably not the greatest, but it was still pretty fun to watch because it was kind of close. It seemed for till about halftime. After that, though, the Baltimore kind of pulled away.
Oh yeah,
But
it went to halftime 10-10, I believe, and then it was
yeah.
just a bloodbath. After that Baltimore run game just got intolerable.
Mm-hmm. Santana, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, same. Again, just going back to teams that overachieved, Houston got there way earlier. I think that's going to be a team that we have to pay attention to for years to come, especially with as many young players as they have there. Lamar is killing it, Cody. Lamar is playing outside of his mind this year, as he tends to do. And again, just going in, yeah, Kenyatta, it was 10-10 going into halftime. And I remember thinking during that game that Houston has everything that it needs to compete with this team, as long as it doesn't start to fall behind. Like if you can answer everything that Baltimore is going to do, then you're going to be fine. And then Baltimore came out in the second half and was just like, nah, this is okay. We're going to put the pedal down, and it's all of us now. But that, take that 10-10 halftime lead, and I think that's what you're looking at for like Houston. Like you're looking at that going forward, Houston. You have that to look forward to in the years to come, competing with a team like Baltimore, who is one of the top 3 teams in the league this year, has been for the regular season. Lamar's killing it. That offense is insane. The defense is great. They've got players all over the field. So the outcome does not shock me, but the score also doesn't say exactly what happened in that game. 34-10 is an ass kicking, but I don't think that actually says what happened in that game.
Yeah.
Well, and they're possibly missing their best receiver. Nothing against Nico Collins. It's just that Nico Collins and Tank Dell, in their healthy times, their production was incredibly similar. Noah Brown comes in, is a great number 3, but Tank Dell going out is huge. Just and every team, all 32 of them are dealing with injuries. It's just that just to agree with Santana on this, they are positioned in a way to where the future is incredibly bright, and I'm excited to see what they do moving forward.
It'll definitely be fun to watch. They got something good cooking down there in Houston.
And I was never like a CJ Stroud hater / doubter, but I did not know that he was going to be this. That man can put that ball wherever he wants, and he does not blink under pressure.
Yeah, he's a cool cat and can do whatever he wants to with the football. I loved him at Ohio State. I think that I've actually had a lot of affinity for the Ohio State quarterbacks over the years, since Ryan Day has been the play caller there. But watching him against CJ Stroud against Georgia, and just because you see these other guys, Justin Fields, you see some of these other guys, and who played great against Clemson. Ohio State has had great quarterbacks, but what Stroud did against Georgia was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. And then, obviously they came up short. I liked him over Bryce in this past draft, but not head and shoulders, not to where I would have thought that had Bryce ended up at Houston, I would have thought that Bryce probably would have had a similar season. But now, after watching CJ this year, it's kind of like, I don't know, man, this guy's like really got it. Like the way that he plays, the calm, cool, and collectedness, the cool under pressure, like you mentioned, Kenyatta. Houston, and to go, I said this the other day, that like to go get your quarterback and your elite pass rusher by trading up to within picks of each other, that's Madden shit. Like that's stuff that I would do, like playing PlayStation. Like it's just so wild that they said, all right, you know what, screw it, go get our quarterback, go get Will Anderson, And then because I said it a bunch that this Nico Collins, some of these other guys that are already there, like they had bones that were pretty good, and it's all young. Again, overachievement even getting to this point, and again overachievement even pushing Baltimore to halftime. Like I think great for you, Houston, but you just ran into the Baltimore buzzsaw, and I'm really excited about the Baltimore and Kansas City game because this is Titans clashing type stuff. So.
All right. Any final thoughts on this Houston Baltimore game?
Baltimore is hungry. That's it. And they look hungry. They're playing hungry. Cody already said it in our chat. Lamar, and they're talented. They're talented as well, and they're playing like they want this. They're playing like they need this. So they're dangerous. Like that first half, I thought, it's a really good team that's done really good stuff this year, record wise, coming in as the number 1 seed, this, that, or the other, but like it might pan into nothing. Second half, I was like, yeah, the Texans are an upcomer, like upstart team that did some really good stuff, but the Ravens just put their foot down, and that and you saw it. It was just nope, not happening today.
All righty. So next game we had was Green Bay at San Francisco. So let's let our resident San Francisco fan Santana go first.
No. I want to go second.
You want to go second?
Yeah.
Well, Baltimore is hungry, but I cannot pronounce this guy's name. I'm sorry.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Pacheco. I'm terrible with names, and as we go on, you'll see that I am. But Pacheco run like the ground. Oh gosh. Sorry, I was too busy hung up on the name to realize what they posted.
No, it's not intolerable. No worries.
Okay.
we can tolerate it on this show. He's not wrong. Childish Hambino.
I definitely will start reading Childish Hambino's messages before I put them up. It's a good description, but YouTube may not think so.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Norman. We do have to, there's protocol at some points, but Pacheco does run like the ground has like angered him beyond like civilization. He's not wrong. I mean, I don't know why he runs kind of flat-footed. He doesn't look like he's moving. Anyways, that's a whole different conversation. Pacheco does run angry. He does. Not just like how he like throws his body into people, like literally his legs pumping. He looks like he is trying to stomp the ground to pieces. Like he hopes that his next step will be the one that breaks the world open. So I understand the comment.
All right, Cunyato.
But
what you got on
okay,
this?
yeah. So for the
Green Bay,
for
San
the Niners and
Francisco.
Green Bay, I was surprised. I knew that the Packers were hot, and that they, speaking of a lot of like young and promising teams, they have a ton of talent, young talent, but I didn't think that they were ready to hang in there with, in my opinion, top to bottom, like your whole 53-man roster. I don't think that there's anybody else in the NFL that really can compare with the San Francisco 49ers right now. I think, and Santana and I kind of had this conversation, I don't know if the layoff helped or hurt because they also were a little bit banged up, the Niners, that is. But the Packers just had that kind of, I'm not going to say like destiny feel because it didn't look like they were going to be like destined to win it all, but they had that just momentum. Momentum is the best word I can come up with. But I didn't expect them to take them as close to the wire as they did, and good for them. Also, congrats Santana. Good for you guys for pulling it out. But that was a shocker. I was shocked.
I really appreciate the Packers. Like now that I'm past that game and we are here on this lovely Thursday, closer to Sunday where my team will play in the NFC Championship for like the millionth time against Cody's team, who will play in the NFC Championship for the second time. I can look back at that game and really appreciate Green Bay's effort. Again, I will say it over and over that there are so many teams, and we could go through all of them, including the Lions, that just have overachieved in this year. There's no reason that this Green Bay team should have come in and demolished that Dallas team. There's no reason for that. There's no reason that that Green Bay team should have come into San Francisco and pushed that San Francisco team, this current roster San Francisco team, to the limit the way they did. But damn it, they did it. And I've said this a bunch. Kenyatta, you and I talked about it. I want to give all the credit to Green Bay that I possibly can. But in saying that, San Francisco played like garbage. Like that was like Brock Purdy had his second worst game of the season, I think. I think that I hated his Browns game and his Ravens game more than that particular game. So second or third is where I would put it. But when it matters most, the kid turns it on. And it wasn't even Brock. Brock couldn't hit a throw to save his life. We weren't catching the football, and Shanahan, for whatever reason, was not handing it to Christian McCaffrey, and we couldn't stay on our feet on defense. So there was a lot of things that happened that were caused by Green Bay's overachievement, and that the fact that they played their asses off and played really well. First 100-yard rusher against San Francisco's defense in like 57 games, which is bizarre. Like that seems like a weird stat. Like it's probably not 57, but it's 50. Like I know that it's above 50. That was an insane stat to me. And of course it's Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is that caliber of player. I thought the game plan that they had was amazing, getting the speed of San Francisco to over pursue on a lot of those runs. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I at one point in time just screamed into the atmosphere, just screamed out like, "Please run the football." Now, I'm doing this show right now, not making millions of dollars coaching the San Francisco 49ers. So I think that I know a little more, but whatever. What I took away from that game in the end was we struggled as a team, but these are the type of games that you have to win. I don't know if we were rusty from the layoff. I don't know if the weather was just throwing the team off that bad. I don't know if the team just expected to beat that team, was looking ahead to whoever we were going to see this upcoming weekend. I don't know what the reasoning was, but I do know that when it mattered, the team locked back in, specifically Brock Purdy, and walked down the field to take the lead. And then Dre Greenlaw, talking about injuries, Kenyatta, who had missed a lot of weeks leading up to this, he comes back and has two obviously major interceptions, specifically the one at the end of the game that sealed it for San Francisco. It was a gritty win. It was a character win, Kyle Shanahan called it. I mean, you were with me. I was drained afterwards. How it could have gotten pushed to that and then, ended the way that it did like that. But you have to win those games to win championships. So I'm hoping that all right, that's our game this year. All right, now let's go thump the Lions and go beat whoever we have to beat in the AFC from the AFC to win a Super Bowl. That game was insane. I'm happy for Packers fans, again, kind of just like with Houston fans and Rams fans and all these teams, Lions fans that have a very bright future going forward. Because what's cool to me is Jordan Love's story. Like I love all that, and I love that they came in and pushed this team, because this team is what it is right now. You push that team to the brink. Yes, you missed opportunities for them too. They missed the field goal.
They missed a lot of opportunities in the red zone.
Yeah, and so it's not like that they just floundered or they just missed opportunity. They had every opportunity to win, and San Francisco found a way to win it at the end. And going forward, great for Green Bay. Look forward to their future success away from San Francisco's success.
All righty. Any final thoughts on this one?
Wait. Yeah, no. Screw Green Bay. I don't look forward to your success. I hope all of you and your fans are terrible from here on out. In fact, your fans are already nailing it. No, I'm kidding. I agree. Like I don't like that team, but they have a lot of really good, great young talent. Like, it's a whole different thing that we won't even put on the internet. Why I have so much vitriol for the Packers, but agreed.
All righty. Next game up was Tampa Bay at Detroit. So that was also a pretty fun one too. Cunado, what you got on this one?
That one was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I kind of thought that Detroit, especially in Detroit, would have. I mean, it's in a dome, it's the Silver Dome, I believe, but I just thought that home field advantage would give them a little bit more momentum. But they were basically trading punches, blow for blow for the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, Detroit took over and did what I thought that they would have done kind of more the whole game. It gave me a lot of respect for Tampa Bay and what they've got moving forward. Talking about a team that has some future, although their players have got to be a little bit more aged than some of the other teams that we've talked about so far in this broadcast. But I was impressed with Tampa Bay's grit. I like Baker Mayfield, and he showed some more of his grit. But Detroit got it done, and they showed that this could be a team of destiny. I'm sorry, Santana, I'm not pulling for it or against it. I know that one of our viewers is pulling for it. But they got done what I thought would happen. It took a little bit more gumption than I thought. So good for them. Talking about a character type of win. But I mean, it was 2 really good teams. MCDC HC or HCMCDC.
Santana?
I just agree. Just again with the theme of this particular playoffs, like I think that San Francisco was supposed to be here. One of my big issues with where we're at right now is that San Francisco's window has been open, and it's crazy. Like, we need to start winning with this roster. But teams like Detroit and all these other, I keep saying overachieving because that's what it just has felt like. This entire playoffs has just felt like every team, Dallas gets bounced, but that's Dallas, and that's shouldn't be a Dallas fan.
It was hilarious, but yeah,
it's exactly what I want.
Why would
daily.
you expect anything else? It happens every year.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna go. It's fine. You're gonna go to the dance. It's just
like
gonna,
gravity and dinosaurs.
You're gonna go home
early. Philly gets bounced. That was a team that people had a lot of high expectations for. Just a lot of teams were in positions or had previously been in positions to be successful. A lot of these teams, specifically Detroit, because 12 wins this year, like I told Cody this the other day. I've told anybody that would listen, like 12 teams this year, or 12 wins this year for this Detroit team. I mean, just next year. So what is your next year? And then next year, like if you told me 2 or 3 years from now that they are winning 12, it's like, yeah, like that, it's about time. Because like I think we could all see this upwards trajectory for the Detroit team, but for them to get to where they got to this year, and then to host multiple playoff games, and then to win both of those, and that scrappy Baker-led Tampa team comes in and pushes them as I see. That game was close, but I also kind of felt like Detroit had it basically the entire time. Like it just kind of felt like this team is better. There's going to be a mistake made that allows this team to just go off and win it, and that's what happened. You know, Baker forces one there at the end that allows Detroit to kind of kneel it out. There's some controversy there that they didn't do it necessarily the way that they should have, and Tampa didn't call timeouts. But regardless of that, that was a fun game. I enjoyed it. I think that everybody other than myself is pulling for Detroit this weekend. And if Detroit is to beat San Francisco, then I, of course, will be pulling for the Lions. It's bizarre to me. The Browns, that's another overachieving team. Like it's bizarre to me that those two teams have been so garbage for so long and both made the playoffs and made noise during the season. So it's exciting. I'm excited for Lions fans, specifically Cody. I'm glad that I'm not going to be able to talk to one of my best friends for weeks on end after the results of Sunday. But I'm glad that is a problem that we have, because it's just more fun. And Cody, I was telling Kenyatta the other day after just watching you experience the win and gather wins, like I remember that feeling for me after San Francisco got good again, going back to the Harbaugh years, because I didn't, older San Francisco fans have experienced all sorts of success. But for me personally, like I had very little. So this long stint of, holy shit, we're going to the NFC Championship. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. And to watch you experience like, holy shit, we're going to the NFC Championship, I didn't know that was going to be a thing, is extremely endearing and extremely excited. Like it makes me excited for all of Detroit fans. Like it's just a neat thing to see happening. And I hate to be the team that would crush it and just y'all go find another year to do this. But I am also obviously hoping that is the case. I hope that San Francisco thumps Detroit. But what a great time for you guys. What a great time for the Lions.
Yeah, no, I'm pulling for the Lions in a sense, because whoever beats you, you want to have been beaten by the best. But I also, Cody, hate the Lions now. I won't forget this. I was at a very good time watching that game with you, buddy. Very enjoyable.
That would be funny,
other than the end result.
That would be funny. Not only would the Lions make it to the Super Bowl, but they would have beat, y'all's two favorite teams on the way to get there.
Yeah, it's a way to ruin a friendship real quick. We've only been as close as we have for so long is because I wasn't worried about your team. Now, like Jesus Christ. Yeah, everybody loves Dan Campbell.
We all love Dan Campbell. Just like, man, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Well, we're not doing the preview yet. So as far as that game goes, yeah, I actually agree with Santana. It kind of did seem like the Lions were in control. It was just a lot of grit and effort for Tampa Bay to kind of like hang with them, blow for a little while. But when it came time to get it all said and done, the Lions stood in there and Tampa didn't. But Tampa's got a bright future. Mm-hmm. Well, once again, I actually don't know about that because they kind of have an older roster.
That is the one team out of all of the overachievers that doesn't have that they're not set up to continue the success. It's kind of like you overachieved, whereas the Lions are set up for continued success, and the Texans and all these other younger teams, Green
Packers,
Bay, Rams. They're all of these have like really young. Like the reason you made it here is because of your young talent, whereas in Tampa, it's like just kind of a scrappy older crowd, and not like overly, like I don't think that they're like overly old, but there's a good chance that you lose Mike Evans this year, even though they've said they want to make Mike Evans a buck for life. There's just a lot of I mean, I got distracted by the
Sorry.
lost
we
my
got
thought.
some good dialogue coming in, but
All right. So this final game coming up, which was a really fun game too. And of course, not only just because of the actual game, but hey, Tay Swift showed her a lot. But the funny thing was,
have we hashtagged her yet?
Jason Kelsey outshined Taylor Swift in that football game.
If we haven't hashtagged Tay Swift into this video, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. And I was Mahomes is he's just something else. He's a robot. He's and like the most advanced robot that's ever been made. And don't let me belittle Josh Allen in this conversation, because the only reason the Bills were even in the playoffs or like had the season that they ended up finally having is because he is a freak. And I think that I've made it clear how I feel about Josh Allen last week. Not great.
You love him.
But he drugged them kicking and screaming, and he drugged them kind of kicking and screaming through that game. But everything just and it's not just Mahomes, obviously. Like everything starts to click. Like the receivers are catching balls. They have, Kelsey actually had some like really weird drops yet again.
Yep.
But it's just you can't keep him down. He has started for 6 years. This is his 6th year going to an AFC championship. And of the 5 previous years, he's gone to 3 Super Bowls. And that's incredible. Even if he loses to the Ravens this year in that AFC championship, he'll be 50% in his first 6 years of just going to a Super Bowl. And of the 3 that he's been to, he's 2-1. I don't know how you keep the man down. And then to go back to previous comments from Childish Hambino, Pacheco was running like the ground had angered him. So the Chiefs are a problem. The Chiefs are a problem for whoever. Yeah, obviously it's the Ravens next, and if they win the next one, they're just tough to stop. Since Reed and Mahomes have been there together, once again, 6 straight. And this is a Reed, statistic. Like he once he gets his program running in the right way, he went to 5 straight NFC championships with the Eagles. Now he's on it 6 straight with the Chiefs. Once you get that quarterback in place, you get the talent that you want, you get the system in place. It's just it's just very hard to stop. So not surprised that they beat the Bills, but good for the Bills to kind of hang in there for a little bit. But it looked like the Chiefs were the better team the whole time, honestly.
I don't necessarily know that I think that the Chiefs looked like the better team the whole time. Josh Allen, though, 100% is like the engine that drives that team. And we talk all the time about how he, again, kicking and screaming to get there. James Cook came in and was like, hey, I hear you need a running game. Here it is. And then he's still just up and down the field. The only reason that they were there was because of him. If Diggs doesn't drop that dime down the numbers.
Was such a beautiful pass.
I've seen it a million different ways at this point. It's just like, Jesus. But then to say, I mean, he makes that throw. He makes these incredible runs on 3rd down. Like Josh Allen, I don't have a negative opinion the way that Kenyatta does about him. But I don't have like this high, like I just don't, I don't love Josh Allen for whatever reason. But this last like I don't know 8 weeks worth of football that he's put on tape like is insane. That guy is that guy. Like he's that dude. He does what he needs to do until this moment got too big at the end of the game. 2nd and 9, you have the crosser that comes across. He tries to make a throw down the middle of the field, which was actually open, but he throws it into the dirt. 3rd and 9, he has another crosser open that would have gotten the first down and throws it in the end zone incomplete. And Bass misses the field goal that ends up giving the Chiefs the win. But, it was an insane game. There's so much. Again, I think that it was 2 or 3 years ago, Mahomes hugged Allen after the game and said, "Hey, we're destined to do this for a while." And this game just proves that that's accurate. Like I think we are going to witness Mahomes and Allen a lot, very similar to Brady and Manning type of situation. Like to get to the Super Bowl, Allen is going to have to figure out a way to beat Mahomes. And this was the year. I thought we picked it. Just if we go back over our picks, I picked Buffalo to win that game. And because I thought this was the year, this was the heat, this was Josh Allen's time. Like this was, they're dropping passes, they're not playing as well. Here's your chance, and he has them right there, towards the end of the game, and then misses on some really key opportunities. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like this is going to be the Manning versus Brady type situation where Brady just continues to go and have that opportunity, and Mahomes is going to continue to go. Like if we do picks for this weekend, I'm going to pick Kansas City over Baltimore, and I don't want that. I want
for this weekend.
Well, I mean, I'm only going to do the one pick. I'm not picking the
But any final thoughts on this one?
Both teams played incredibly well, and Santana's right. Everything that he said about Allen, and the Bills are incredibly talented and still probably have a bright future. I don't know what that window looks like on their cap room, and how youthful or old their team is or is not. I know Von Miller's not a spring chicken. And I think Poyer's been there for a little while, like some of their bigger players, but I don't think that the Bills are going to go anywhere, like as far as fall off the map anytime soon, especially with Allen being that guy and James Cook's very young. I think this is only his second year.
Yeah, I think so.
So they have some runway. They have some leeway. It's just the buzzsaw is when Patrick Mahomes and his team turns it on, which the AFC has experienced, and the whole NFL has experienced before with another guy named Tom Brady. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes is Tom Brady.
Are you saying that Patrick Mahomes is Tom Brady?
I feel bad for the Bills, get tortured by Brady for 2 decades, then he leaves, and the Walrus and his Kermit bot take over. Cuckoo.
And just it seems like kind of like you were saying, Santana, like maybe this is like a Manning Brady rivalry between those two. It just the mountaintop to climb, even though we thought that this was a very down year for the Chiefs. We thought it last year that it was an incredibly down year. They went up, wind up winning the Super Bowl. And this year, once again, they don't look nearly as sharp as they have in the past. But guess what? AFC Championship yet again. So it's tough to count them out. So good on you, Bills. You put up a good fight again.
You did it.
I don't know how you climbed that mountain, and that's we'll do our picks here in a bit, but
yeah,
it's tough to count the Chiefs out.
It is. They definitely are a January team.
Yep.
They seem to turn the jet once the playoffs hit, then it's like it doesn't matter where we're at. We're on autopilot now.
Yep.
All righty. So going back to our picks from last week. So how'd we do, Cunyato?
Well, you are 8-2 now. Santana is 4-5. Anybody who's doing like, wait, why does Normie have 10 picks and Santana only has 9 picks? Santana abstained from picking against or picking the Niners game at all. I'm 6-4. So I'm still within reach of you if you lose both of your picks and I win both of mine. And then I guess we'll also count the Super Bowl. But I've got this sneaking suspicion that I can't pick against both of your picks this week. So I think it's going to be hard to catch you.
Well, speaking of next week, 2 big matchups. So first one, AFC Championship, Kansas City at Baltimore. So what you got, Cunyato?
Well, you know where I'm leaning. Like, I think the Ravens are a hell of a team, and I know that they are playing hungry and they look like it. Lamar has talked about the pressure that he's feeling. I just can't pick against the Chiefs. I mean, they just when it all the cards are on the table, they win. So I'm going with Chiefs.
All right. Santana?
Like I was saying earlier, I'm agreeing with Kenyato. I picked against Kansas City this past week because I thought this was the time, and it wasn't, and doesn't seem like it's going to be. I think that team is this, like you said, they're a January team. This is a team that is comfortable in this position in this time of year. I love the Ravens. I think that offensively, defensively, they've got everything going for them. Lamar's playing outside or having a great year. But after they beat that Bills team, I don't know. I mean, and it doesn't even really feel like analytical football stuff. This really does just feel like a gut feeling of like, okay, that's the team that's going to go to the Super Bowl from that side of the bracket. Like watching them battle and have that just weird game with Baltimore, it's almost like, okay, yeah, this is just Patty's world, and the rest of us are just living in it. So Patty and Andy move past Baltimore, even though I think that Lamar and company make it extremely difficult. And that's who I want.
All right. Cody says, my least favorite remaining team is the Chiefs by a large margin. I would pick them to win too. And I guess I'm going Baltimore. I'm picking against them. I think this is the time.
I got a chance to catch up.
Kansas City has looked vulnerable, and I think Baltimore has been playing at well enough level to exploit those vulnerabilities. Like y'all, we've been saying it all night. Lamar has just been playing crazy, but that defense, especially, in the second half, like that defense is just suffocating. And I think it's Baltimore. I think it's finally that one where Lamar gets it over. He's already got that one win. I think now he's good. He doesn't really have the pressure anymore of, oh, he's only 1-3 and all that. I think he's good, and I think Baltimore wins it. Also, I do want to say I want Baltimore to win for one sole reason. So we do not have Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl.
Another reason why I'm picking the Chiefs, buddy. This is Shadow Gov, man. This is inevitable.
I'm so dang tired of Taylor Swift and football being associated. but I do think it's Baltimore's time. They definitely have been playing a lot better. But it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas City won. I will say that. It won't come to a shock. So Cody's, I've been pulling for them. once the Lions didn't make the playoffs for years at this point. No NFL conspiracies. Ravens can't win. Oh, so I think Elbiona is referencing the Super Bowl logo and how the past couple of years the colors on the logo have been the colors of the teams in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And it's purple and red this year.
Yeah, the Rams never had a shot. No blue in there.
So, yep. Moving on to the NFC Championship. I know, Santana, you were going to abstain, but do you want to provide any commentary about this one?
Just thoughts on the game.
I think on paper, not even I think, just on paper, San Francisco is superior. They have the superior roster. But there's just so much. Some of the things that I've seen San Francisco be weak at over the past season. Big plays in the run game. You know, they've done a good job of managing yardage against them, but they seem to give up at least a big shot in the run game. Easy. We don't. Hey, that's not how we speak here. I think that the pass rush for San Francisco should be a problem for the Lions. I think that the running backs for the Lions should be a problem for San Francisco. I love Sun God, and our secondary is not stellar. I don't know. If I were to pick, I think that I know where I would lean, but I'm not. I wouldn't do that here. There does seem to be a lot of momentum and team of the year type situation for the Lions. So I could definitely see the Lions beating San Francisco. But again, you are going to have your opportunity for years to come. San Francisco is the window is squeezing, and I like pull the trigger now. And I think that that's where San Francisco is at, is that they are expecting, like, to not make the Super Bowl wouldn't be an ultimate failure for San Francisco this year. And so that's all I will say about that.
Cody says, to be fair, the Lions DL is a problem for everyone.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
Let's see. Childish Hambino, Lions Chiefs Super Bowl incoming. That would be, I mean, just the Lions just being in it would just be a weird. Just be
the Lions being this far is weird.
Yeah.
Good for them. I mean, I hate the path that they had to take. But it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me at all. Childish Hambino.
Tay and Ursher, I'd watch that.
But for me personally, you know, I like both teams. I like both teams a lot. I think they're both incredibly talented. I think the Lions are building to whereas San Fran's already built. So that's why I'm going to lean. And they've got to play in Santa Clara. And the Niners fans are pretty rabid. And honestly, if you can get Brock Purdy out of weather, he's amazing. And even in weather, he's still that dude when he has to be that dude. I mean, his stats are top 5 in basically every category you want to be top 5 in. And at home, with no rain, and once again, top to bottom, I don't think that there's a roster in the NFL that really even gets all that close. So obviously, yeah, I'm good. I'm going the Niners on this one.
This one's tough for me. I'll tell you, I want Detroit to win. Sorry, Santana. It's
I quit. I'm getting
It's that team of the year thing for me. I like an underdog, and just even as good a team as Detroit has had this year, they're still an underdog. And but I think San Francisco got a little scared after last week. I think they kind of sure it up. I think they're a little more focused coming in. I think that scare of, well, we can be beat. This is the playoffs now. Like we gotta stay focused. We gotta be out there and doing the right things. And I think this year or this game they buttoned it up. I still think it's pretty close. I think it's going to be one of those where like San Francisco maybe wins by like 3 or 7, but they control it throughout the game, kind of thing. I don't think it'll be like a major beating, but maybe Detroit can pull it out, but we'll see. But I'm gonna go San Francisco.
Dang it, I can't catch up to you, Normie. Well, we've got the Super Bowl after
The
this
Super
one. We're
Bowl.
different on this one, so the Super Bowl might come down to it. And also, sorry, Cody, picking against your team. I'm just giving my honest feelings.
Tim the Toolman Taylor was a Lions fan. That's good enough for me. All righty. Well, any final thoughts on anything we've talked about today? Go Lions, for one.
What is happening? Why are we?
A lot of Lions love
Am I a
coming
joke
in
to
here,
you?
Santana.
Look, and I'll give a final thought about the Lions. I mean, I think that we've said it the last 2 weeks that this is football history, and I love football history. I love when something like this does happen.
Just
I
not
told
against
it
your
happen to
team.
you.
Yeah, not against my team. I told Cody specifically, it's like, this is fucking awesome. I love this for you, and I love this for Detroit. I love this for their fans. But like, why? Like, I saw something, and I told you out of this about how San Francisco is probably the most desperate team or desperate fans in sports right now. And yeah, there's a lot. Like, obviously, the Lions have never won anything, but San Francisco expects to be where they expect to be year in, year out. And it's not so much about what they have won or what they could win. It's about, like, specifically this window. It's like, okay, things have gone shitty for us for a while. All right, but okay, here we are. All right, now we're in it. Let's go win one. We had it with Harbaugh. We had that 4 years, and then boom, we're back to garbage. And now Shanahan comes in and Lynch comes in, and they had signed these huge contracts and start building the team. And we know that our roster is garbage, and we're trying to build that up. And like, boom, here we are. We've got Garoppolo, who is making plays, and we drafted Nick Bosa, and we've got Debo, and we've got these, like, all right, roster's good. The roster's getting good. It's getting good. It's getting better. We're all right in the Super Bowl. Missed that opportunity. It's like, okay, well, now shit, like, window is closing. 4 out of the 5 last NFC championships. No Super Bowls out of that with the roster that we have. Damn, shit, the window is closing again. So that's where, like, this desperation for San Francisco is. There's only so long that you can. Yes, this is the best roster in football. Like, I don't think that there's a team in the league out of the 32 right now that I would put roster wise, just talent level, with San Francisco. But that can't maintain forever. Like, that's the point of free agency and the cap rule, and that these things cannot last forever. So every year that San Francisco does not win one, it squeezes and becomes closer to not winning one. And that's where the desperation comes from. And damn it, Detroit, you will have your time next year or the year after, but just we need damn it, one. Like, this year would be great. It would honestly be a waste if we don't get at least 2 out of this roster, though. So, like, if Cody called Dan Campbell and just, tell him to lay down.
Hold.
Like, just can we please just this year? You can win it next year. This year, you've got plenty of time. Just, that's where I'm at. A sense of panic, I think, is where you could put me. Especially, okay. I mean, y'all don't understand what's on the line. I've known Cody for a million years, and now I'm not going to. And I speak to him almost daily. Like, I'm not going to be able to speak to him if his team beats mine this weekend. Like, I'm not going to be able to speak to him at least 2 weeks. Like, it's going to be at least a 2-week thing.
Right. I've got a question for you, Santana. on our final thoughts here, and after your very eloquent response, so how you feel about it. Yeah. Also, no, he would not. He literally talked about biting off kneecaps. Dan Campbell ain't gonna be the man that you can phone up to lose. He's not gonna be the guy that takes the money to take the fall. But which AFC team, if you were, and Cody, if you're still listening, I'd actually like both of y'all's thoughts on this. Which AFC team would you rather face if one of you guys are going to go to the Super Bowl?
I got beef with both these teams. I've got Super Bowl revenge against Baltimore. I've got Super Bowl revenge against Kansas City.
Yeah.
I've got in-season revenge against Baltimore. I want the Ravens. Do I think that both of those teams pose a threat to San Francisco? Absolutely. There wasn't a team in that side of the bracket that I would have just been excited to play. So maybe the Browns. That's somebody that I wanted to see again too. It's just the way that those games in the regular season happened. I just wanted a chance for redemption. If we go, and it would be great to go and play Kansas City and get a chance to beat Kansas City after the way that game went in 2019.
Trying to lose twice to the Ravens.
Listen, yes, that is a possibility. That is an absolute possibility. But that game where they had 4 interceptions against Brock Purdy, we led in every other statistical category other than the fucking score. Like, that was not – we walked it down the field to open it up. Brock throws that bad interception, and it completely changed what happened after that. But Christian McCaffrey averaged 6.5 yards a carry against that team. Baltimore is fucking amazing. I know that they would pose a threat. So would Kansas City. I'm focusing on getting past Detroit, but I would be fine seeing either of those teams. But I do want I want Baltimore again, but I would be excited about either matchup because there is some history for me personally. Again, a younger 49ers fan between these two teams. I've witnessed 2 Super Bowls and watched 2 losses.
Them both away from you.
Yeah, so I would be fine.
Cody says I'd rather face the Ravens. Think the chances of winning are low regardless, and I'd rather lose to the Ravens than the Chiefs.
See, I don't agree with that, Cody. I think that if the Lions get past San Francisco, then they have every bit of the opportunity to beat either of those other teams. I know that Baltimore gave Detroit an ass kicking earlier in the year, but if Goff shows up, specifically, like if Detroit's quarterback shows up, then that team has a chance to beat anybody. Like, I think that they are that talented. Like, when I say that San Francisco's roster is significantly superior, I mean, I think that's just obvious on paper. But the Detroit roster right now, and it's still, again, an overachieving roster. But yeah, no, I think that team can stand up with either of the other teams too if it gets past San Francisco.
Any team that can beat San Francisco.
I'm pulling for like a flat tire on a plane or something.
Like then you can beat anybody. And I'm not trying to give Stan Fran a handout.
We'll take a handout. We'll take a handy jout.
A handy jout. But
Childish Gambino, between the AFC teams, I'd rather the Chiefs win it. It's fun watching Mahomes build his legend.
I actually get that. Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's just, but going back to what Cody had just said, if you can beat San Fran, you can beat anybody. And obviously, these 4 teams, I think it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited for Sunday because I think any one of them can beat the other. It just depends on how the ball bounces and, who does and does not show up.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to be a fun one.
Well, and I know that some of the games have gotten out of hand, but this has been a really entertaining playoffs. Not just specifically looking at the score, but again, the teams that have gotten in, the teams that have won games, the stories that there are about different teams. I mean, it's neat that the Lions are here now. It's been an enjoyable. It's been an enjoyable playoffs, so I'm looking forward to
Yes,
type
it sure
thing
has.
Well, all righty.
No, I agree with you entirely, Santana. And yeah, we will wrap it up.
If that's all you got, and it's definitely been a fun show. Definitely looking forward to Sunday. Like, and in the past, usually I haven't been like big on the playoffs. I usually kind of wait because it's usually that big push during college football, and then the playoffs come up, and it's kind of like I need a breather. Bowl season's over. I need a, and then kind of the Super Bowl. But I'm definitely glad I watched all these games because, like Santana was saying, even the ones that were kind of blowouts, they were still fun to watch. It wasn't really boring. And obviously the Green Bay beating the crap out of the Cowboys was actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
And then also hilarious kind of at the end where the Packers almost like tried to let him come back and
Where
gave
was
him
Bane?
gave him a little hope, that little hope at the end just to smash their dreams again. So that was definitely my highlight so far. But y'all got anything else?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, just excited about this weekend. Ready for it to be Sunday at this point.
Definitely. All right. And Childish Gambino, yeah, when the Cowboys lose, America wins. America's team my ass. All right, everybody. Thank everybody for showing up tonight, listening to us, especially y'all in the comment section. Elbiona, Childish Gambino, Cody, thank you so much. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. All this really helps. And yep, it's down below. Hit that bell so anytime we go live or put out a video, which we have been in talks to kind of start putting out videos, but whenever we do that, you'll get a notification. And yeah, I think that's about it. Again, thank you so much for coming out, and we will see y'all next week.
See ya.
Appreciate it, everybody. See y'all.